Greetings and welcome. How are we all feeling at the moment? Today's topic is on manipulation. And we have all been manipulated and we have all manipulated to a certain degree. But sometimes we do it in small scales, so it's not always as noticeable, and it may not always be as bad and as destructive as someone outright manipulating you and making you question your reality, your model of the world. And we do manipulate. We say, oh, if you do this for me, I'll do this for you. And you see, it's not such a bad thing because both people benefit either way, but it's still a form of manipulation. But manipulation can also be very destructive, very hurtful, and can completely brainwash a person. A lot of us expect manipulators to be outright about it. People expect to notice it immediately, but what we don't always realize is manipulation is subtle. It happens on a subconscious process, so you're not always aware that you're being manipulated or that you're manipulating someone. It's very subtle and it plays on your subconscious mind a lot. It's convincing you, it's making you question things, making you doubt things, but in very small and minor ways. But the more you are exposed to manipulation, the greater the scale will become until it's not so subtle anymore. And the thing is, we are very open beings. Well, not all of us, but we like to talk about ourselves, our experiences, what we've been through. We like connecting, meeting new people, enjoying time with our friends, our family. But we don't realize that oversharing is a big problem. And a lot of people overshare because they become emotional, too trustworthy, or vulnerable. They become too trustworthy and vulnerable. So manipulators will inquire a lot about you. So they'll interview you just to find weaknesses that they can later use against you. So it's fine to have a conversation about your life, your experiences, what you did, how you feel, but make sure that's with someone you can trust. Only share specific things with specific people, because a manipulator will make you feel special and ask a lot of questions and, oh, that's amazing, and then what about this and what about that? And they do that to find your weaknesses so they can use that against you. And we all love compliments. We love it when people say how nice our hair looks, or how nice we dressed, or we love it. It makes us feel good. And usually we extend compliments to strengthen connections and to make each other feel good about ourselves. But manipulators use flattery. They compliment you a lot. They make you feel really pretty, really good, really all the things you want to feel. They'll make you feel using flattery. And then when they've used that flattery and feel so good and so special, they'll ask you a big favor. And that's a common thing with manipulators, is they will use flattery just to ask you a big favor, and then you'll be indebted to them. And they will always make you indebted to them. And they'll go out of their way to do something for you that you didn't ask, and then they'll say, yeah, but I did this for you, so you need to help me with this, or I need you to do this. And no matter what, you will always be indebted to a manipulator in some way if you have one in your life. They will go out of their way to do you massive favors and you think, oh, they're so amazing and oh, they care about me, but they just do it so they can get favors out of you and they can get you to do things that they want you to do. Remember, manipulators are so subtle that they're not used to people catching them out. And usually people are a bit shy, a bit submissive, and they don't really want to say anything when their boundaries are being crossed. But that's what allows a manipulator to take more advantage of you, is when you're vulnerable and you can't stick up for yourself. So stand your ground and reinforce boundaries. Tell them, I am not okay with this. I wish for this not to continue, and I don't appreciate the way that you are trying to convince me of things that I never wanted to do. Stand your ground, be stern with them, and don't allow them to just persuade you just because you feel a bit shy of telling them no. Remember, your no is your no, and call it out. Call it out for what it is. Say, hey, you're manipulating me. Hey, you're trying to persuade me. Hey, you're guilt tripping me. Can you please stop? And it will come as a shock to them. They absolutely won't believe. They'll be flabbergasted that you picked up on their little subtle cues. So always call it out. Never let them walk all over you or disrespect you or make you question your reality. Call it out for what it is and make sure that the behavior stops and discontinues immediately. And that's how you prevent yourself from being manipulated and how you keep yourself safe from manipulators, because manipulators come in many shapes and forms of many different types of people. It's about identifying when you are being mistreated. And then be careful of becoming vulnerable with manipulators. It's easy for us to get into an emotional state, and especially when someone is agreeing with us and they telling us, yeah, no, I totally agree with you, and that must have been so difficult for you. They fake empathy. They fake being in your world and feeling what you're feeling. They do it just to make sure that you are vulnerable. And they make you vulnerable so they can misuse you or brainwash you or make you do things that you wouldn't want to do, that they want you to do, because you don't have a strong sense of self. And that happens when we become vulnerable. And it's not that being vulnerable is bad. It's just about being vulnerable with the wrong people can be very detrimental. Remember, we all manipulate. It's not always harmful when we don't do it intentionally and when we don't do it with the intent to hurt. If you've just made dinner and you ask your partner, listen, I cooked dinner, can you just clean the kitchen, please? That is a form of persuasion. You see, it's, in a sense, it's like manipulation, but it's in such small forms that it's not as harmful, and it's used in everyday life. We manipulate each other. We don't always realize it, but when done with the intention to manipulate someone, that is when it becomes malicious and malevolent, and that's where toxic relationships breed, is from manipulation. And the thing is, manipulators are so good at brainwashing and so good at persuasion and so good at making you doubt yourself that manipulators can make you question and doubt your own reality. They can make you think that everything you believe is wrong or is in question. They can make you think everything that you've experienced is wrong. They brainwash you, they persuade you into believing completely other things. Master manipulators will reconstruct someone else's mind to fit their needs. Remember, there are many forms of manipulation. They come in many forms. Guilt tripping, is one of them, where you make someone feel guilty for something, and blackmail, when you force someone to do something, and if they don't, there's going to be a negative consequence. And persuasion, which is trying to get people to believe what you believe and to think the way you think and to operate the way you want them to. So remember, manipulation on small scales is not the worst thing, just be careful of it and how you intend to do it. But master manipulators will always try and find a weakness, stand your ground, say no, and enforce your boundaries. So remember, you are unique and valuable. Take care of that stunning person. Stay strong wherever you're from. You are worthy.